Live. Okay, I'll introduce myself again. I'm Andrea Schneider, and I'm here in sunny San Diego enjoying a beautiful day, getting a little bit of spring fever. I want to give you a little background of who I am. Came from Illinois, moved to San Diego 25 years ago to become an attorney, practiced law for many years, and then 8 years ago I got diagnosed with breast cancer, and that was really life-changing. I was looking for some answers, did a lot of research, went through Western medicine treatment, and then went beyond that. And so I could happily say that I feel like I'm in the best physical and hopefully close to mental shape of my life. It's been a work in progress. And I really enjoy helping other people, especially women who are going through illnesses, maybe breast cancer, other things as well, and men as well. Yes. So I want to introduce my friend Michelle. She'll tell herself a little bit about herself, and then we will share some thoughts with you that hopefully can resonate and help you get through whatever you're going through in life. So Michelle, let's hear about you.
Hi, Andrea, and thank you for welcoming me. You're making me jealous with that beautiful San Diego weather. I used to live there, so I missed that beautiful stuff you're having. My journey started back in 2012. For pretty much most of my life, I've shared or been able to enjoy a healthy lifestyle, very active. I'm a veteran, so I was living a military lifestyle. Never really had too many health issues. And so in 2012, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, which was actually a really big shock to me because I didn't have a very clear family history. So I was taken off guard, surprised, stunned, you name it, name the word. It really was a life-changing experience. It's 2015 now, so thank God I'm survived this far. I plan on surviving a lot longer. But I have practiced quite a few things. I was an aviator in the military. I also served in the field as a medical personnel, IV triage, etc., stuff like that. Then when I graduated and became a mother, or not graduated, but took an honorable discharge out of service, I came home, became a mother, and went to school for nursing and pursued a BSN in nursing and became more involved in the medical world, and I had practiced nursing, let's say, for a cumulative years like 20, 24, 25 years. So during those years, I was quite the student of humanity, so to speak. I watched how people responded when they were given treatment, how they interacted with physicians and their nurses, and I think that leads into pretty much what we're going to be talking about today, Andrea, if you want to take it from there.
Yeah, so Michelle and I have become friends over the past year or so on Facebook because we have this common past experience with the breast cancer, and we found we had other commonalities. And so one of the things I work on doing is empowering other women to take charge of their life and take charge of their health. And sometimes we need to step back, and I know for me, I realized that, like I told Michelle a couple of weeks ago, I was in survival mode for a long time, and I think that happens to people when there's some kind of shock or trauma in their life, whatever it may be. And so I know I wasn't alone in that thinking, but sometimes we need to then rethink and think, what can I do now to empower myself, and how can I empower others? So that's my focus of where my journey is going. I have a team of ladies that's what we do, is we help each other, we help others, and if what I say connects with you in some way, I'd like you to connect with me on Facebook. That's the best way. So you could find me on Fit, Sexy, Successful, Over 40 on Facebook. So if you put in those words, type them at the top in the search, you'll find me. And Michelle and I are getting used to some of this modern technology here to give you some prompts on the side. I don't know if you'll see them. We'll give you the links for that, but may or may not work when you're watching this. So we want to talk today, and Michelle will share her contact information in a minute, but we kind of want to talk about like where the journey starts, and then what you may be feeling physically, emotionally, mentally, and how to process that and how to work through it after you've been diagnosed with something that could be very life-changing, like a cancer diagnosis or a major illness. And Michelle, I know we talked about a little bit. First, maybe give your contact information, then if you would share, being a nurse and the education you've received, like how a diagnosis of any major illness could maybe change people's lives.
Okay. All right. I will go ahead first and give you the contact information. You can find me at Breast Cancer Champions online on Facebook. It is a closed group. The link is https /www.facebook.com Breast Cancer Champions. It was this whole thing about being diagnosed with breast cancer has really impacted my life. I'm sure, as Andrea shared with you, it has impacted her life. We talk about many different ways that this breast cancer has touched us. And as far as like what I'm referring to, I'm talking about the different parts of our lives, how we respond to being told you have breast cancer. And what I talked and shared with Andrea about was a step process that I really felt was necessary, that we as breast cancer survivors need to do something for our fellow sisters who are going to be diagnosed with breast cancer, who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. What better thing to do for each other than to give education, to give information that will help other people? And that's my personal opinion. Some people don't care. They don't care if you get breast cancer. They don't care if you have a terminal diagnosis. All they care about is themselves. We are not about that. I am not about that. So, because I'm about something totally opposite of that, I want to get involved in this step process to help you as a breast cancer survivor, or a person who's been diagnosed with breast cancer. We want to help you by offering these steps. The first step being the diagnosis. How does that impact us? I'm going to share how it impacted me. I believe, Andrea, you've shared also how you went into a survival mode. But I want to go back a step further even, if that's okay with you, Andrea.
Sure.
The step being where you are waiting for that phone call, or the moment that you found the lump or something different with your breast. Some people even say their boyfriend found it, or their husband found it, or they were in the shower and they weren't thinking about it, then all of a sudden, wham, it was there. And that is pretty much the step one, ground floor, ground zero. And that is exactly how it affects your life. It feels like a bomb has gone off. Now, anybody in the military, if you tell them a bomb has gone off, they're going to tell you that there's going to be damage done, and they're going to ask you what damage was done. This is not how people respond in our world of medicine today, in the, what do you want to call it, the general non-military public, okay? People don't want to talk about the damage. They don't want to talk about what's coming when it comes to cancer, period, or any other life-threatening disease. They just want it to go away. And that's not how it works. So, step one, the bomb goes off, you're told you have cancer. What do you do next? I went into a numb state. I went into a numb state where I felt like I was falling apart little by little, like a domino effect. It was like, click, there goes the first domino. How did you feel, Andrea?
Trying to move so I'm not with a ray of light going down me, but you know, for me, it was kind of shock. I actually got a phone call from my doctor, and I want to say that's not the best way to find out you have cancer. I was actually driving, and I was driving my 2 small children, and I had to pull off to the side of the road, take the surgeon's call, and hear that I had cancer. I don't think, if there's any doctors listening, and I know that was a topic on the Facebook group a while back, it's not a great way to hear you have cancer is by phone. No. So that's the start. You know, I really went into a mindset of I needed to be very objective. I've been trained as an attorney to look at situations and facts and help people find the best situation for them, and that's what I had to do for myself. I had to go into an objective mindset, weigh it out, what's going to give me the best chance of survival, the least chance of recurrence, and what would be the side effects with each treatment choice. And at the time, I had a 1.5-year-old baby and a 9.5-year-old daughter. So my survival was important to myself, but as well as for these children. That was my main goal, was survival. And so, you have to, everyone has different ways of handling a situation. Like maybe you went numb. I went into somewhat action mode, but not necessarily thinking about it for me, but about how would anyone handle this. So that's kind of what I did. And then that's part of what led me to writing the book that I know you've read, Michelle, You Are Not Alone, Life After a Breast Cancer Diagnosis, because I realized I have so many notes and so much research that I've done that why not share this with other ladies or men as well. So, my mind in some ways was being objective, but it also shut off in some ways, because then later I looked at some of my notes and I realized I don't remember them telling me some of this at all until some of it was happening. So, and I just want to warn you too, my battery on my laptop is at 8%, so if for some reason we get cut off before we're done and it comes to an abrupt end, you'll know why, people. So, Michelle?
Well, hope it don't happen that way. Well, let's just try to condense a couple things so we can at least get a full broadcast in. Yeah, Andrea, I think that every woman that's given the diagnosis of breast cancer feels pretty much the same way. Initially, there's a shock. As a nurse, I'm going to say that initial shock is the beginning, because there is a physical response to that shock. And I think most people in the medical world will say, yeah, well, what are we supposed to do about that? Well, maybe we could do something as humane as offer something. We seem to be in a world of, here, take a pill for this. So why can't they say, hey, I know this has really been hard on you, so why don't you go ahead and consider taking a one-time dose of this Xanax or Ativan or whatever it is, Valium, a small dose of Valium to calm you so that you can think. Now, I'm not the nurse that likes to do pill pushing. I'd never like to give people pills, but I'll tell you one thing, if someone's in pain, it surely changes. That looks better, Andrea, yeah. If someone is in pain, I will be the first nurse to stand up and say, give them something because they're suffering. Now, let's look at it from that point of view. If you are emotionally suffering, why can't you get something to relieve your suffering? Because we're not supposed to cry. We're supposed to stand up and be strong. We're not supposed to be weak or show weakness. The problem of it is that we're all human beings.
I'm going to get my battery charger. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay. The problem of it is, people, is that we are supposed to show emotion and we're supposed to show feelings. And, of course, we have to have some kind of keep it together, and we have to be able to maintain, like Andrea was sharing. She had her kids in the car with her, and she's behind the wheel of a car. You don't want to get news that you have cancer while you're driving down a freeway and freak out. We don't want people to do that. So maybe what I'm saying is, not maybe what I'm saying is that maybe the approach to giving people the news, so to speak, maybe that should be rethought and new ideas presented. I know it's terrible to get a phone call from the doctor saying you need to come in. Okay? I'm going to tell you how I was told that I had breast cancer. I had a female, don't know who she was, she didn't identify herself as far as what her job was. She called me up and said she had my test results from my biopsy. I was sitting there going, well, I've been waiting for like a week to wait for the results, so you can imagine how I was feeling. Then she turned around and she said pretty much like this, and I'm going to make sure, I don't like it when people exaggerate to create drama, so this is exactly what she said to me. I have good news and I have bad news. Which would you like to hear first? And her voice, at that point was just too elevated and too happy for me, because I wasn't a happy person having found a lump in my breast, okay? And I was worried that it would be cancer. Basically, she said, the good news is that in your right breast where you found a lump, that's a cyst. The bad news is you have cancer in your left breast. At that point, there was nothing right you could have said to me. So, we do have to think about the way we tell women they have breast cancer. And I think we can come up with much better ways than to give them a phone call and say, hey, guess what, your world is going to fall apart. We need to make sure, for one, that they have a support system. And go ahead, Andrea.
Well, and I think, people sometimes don't know what to say, but especially someone who's medically trained, and I know after a while, maybe a surgeon, it kind of becomes commonplace that they're cutting someone, they're diagnosing, making those phone calls, but to the person who's being diagnosed, it's maybe a once in a lifetime event, and it's never good to hear you have cancer. So my surgeon was very skilled, and it was a female. She was very skilled as a surgeon, but what she lacked was compassion and bedside manner, not just in that phone call, but other times along the process. And so I would just suggest anyone who's dealing with people in any way, maybe just in mankind in general, but especially at time of a diagnosis or helping someone along a journey of an illness, that you think about the compassionate side of being a human and one human to another. And I know sometimes it's a time element, a doctor's busy, a nurse is busy, whatever the case may be, but a little compassion, a little friendliness, a little hug, a little offer of kindness goes a long way. And that goes for, and I know I've had people even recently, someone asked me, like, I know you had cancer. I have a friend who was recently diagnosed with cancer. What should I say or do? And it's maybe just being a kind person, offering to do a little favor for them or whatever it might be. I know this won't sit well with some of the pink sisters, but for me personally, like when I got diagnosed, I didn't want to get everything pink. People started sending me all kinds of pink things. And I didn't want to be reminded of cancer every single thing that I did, cooking or sitting in this or that. But compassion and a friendship and someone making me dinner or doing something, can I drive your kids to school? That was totally appreciated. So I know we're getting a little off topic here, but we just like to have conversations, Michelle and I, and hopefully something will resonate with someone who's listening. Say, oh, you know what? That could help me or help someone else.
Right.
That's really what we're doing here.
Okay. To focus, okay, we go ahead and we can refocus here. As far as the steps go that Andrea and I are referring to, is we're looking at the overall situation from
step one. Get a little closer to your microphone. You're getting a little soft for some reason.
Can you hear me?
A little better.
Better? Okay. What Andrea and I are talking about is that there's a step process we want to help build so that we can improve the whole situation as much as we possibly can improve. While we're looking for a cure, we do have to continue from day 1 to day 2 and get through this. So what we want to do is we want to make it as easy as possible to get through by, setting up situations like step 1, you go through the initial diagnosis. This is how you're going to feel. You're going to fall down. You're going to fall apart in all the 9 yards. But what we want to do is we want to make it so that this woman is a survivor from that moment. Not from after the lumpectomy, not just from after the mastectomy. You know what? As a nurse, I can share that we want our patients who are going into major surgeries, we want them to be as positive as possible. We don't want them freaking out in the middle of, pre-op and having to sedate them. We don't want that. We want to be able to help these people get through the surgery, come out of the surgery, and recover as quickly as possible in the most positive way. And so we need to be more proactive. And I really want to say this right now before I forget it, is that every single woman who is diagnosed with breast cancer is responsible to do something for herself. Now, don't take this as I don't care about the women, because anyone who knows me knows I passionately love my sister champions. What I'm saying is if you're used to people doing things for you, it's time you stop doing that and get up and do it for yourself and learn how to do that. Breast Cancer Champions is all about empowering women. Andrea is all about empowering women. I'm all about empowering women, basically, so that you can live your full potential and that you can participate in the society that you're living in, not just as some kind of mannequin walking around, but someone who has choices, knows how to make them, and who can survive something as devastating as breast cancer. This is what we want to do. We want to give of ourselves. I believe, Andrea, I believe I'm on the right track there. I see your sunshine getting to you again there. It's like the rays just kind of come across.
I'm just getting more angelic by the moment, Michelle, and so it's rays of my angelness coming down on me.
Yeah, there's a lot of different steps that we have to go through, but I think laying the foreplay in here to say that we can do much better, but the first thing we have to do is participate. You get people out there who say, somebody should do this. In all of my years as a supervisor, a leader, etc., I love to hear that word somebody because I just turned around and said, that somebody is you. You've just elected yourself. So go ahead, Andrea, take it away.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you, Michelle. And you know, there's a time like you just had surgery, you need people to help you. Use your support system, let people do things for you. You know, there were times I had a double mastectomy. I didn't realize that a little thing like cutting a bagel or opening a window would be a challenge and pain. You know, but you get better. And my goal is for myself and to help other women, like you said, I like the word empowerment. It's showing people the way by living by example, like you and I do, that we're not victims. Something happened to us. We got diagnosed. We took action. We got our treatment. We're moving on with our lives. Sure, it still hurts. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes you have a recurrence. Sometimes I don't want to downplay any of that. But you got to take action and you got to empower yourself, whatever that may be. Like for me, I'm working on a lot of personal development, things I wouldn't have been open to 5 or 10 years ago. Increasing your vibration and things that make you happy. And I could go into more detail about that another time, or contact me on Facebook. That's the best way. You can message me or find me in my group. But we have to empower ourselves, and by empowering ourselves, and hopefully we teach others and help them and inspire them to empower themselves. So we can go on and every day be a little more productive. And one of my goals, especially for the breast cancer ladies, is, you know, you're going to have some off days. Maybe you have your chemo or your radiation or your surgery, so you're not going to feel your best. But you know what? Every day, try and do a little more that day than you did the day before. Push yourself just a little harder. If maybe tomorrow you can only get out of bed, the next day walk from the bed to the kitchen. The next day take a couple steps outside. Whatever it is for you. If you're more active than that and you could go to the gym or you can swim or whatever it is, do a tiny bit more the next day and you're going to just feel so much better. For me, I know exercise has been such an important part of my life for the physical and for the mindset, and then once you feel you can do something, it pushes you to do something else, and you just keep reaching and reaching for more. And by helping others, it often helps you forget about maybe what you're going through as well. So I know Michelle helps a lot of people and I help people, and you know, it feels good to help others. And so that's what we want to do, is kind of, you know, playing it forward of helping each other. So, Michelle, what else would you like to say?
Well, I want to say, you know, the step progress or the step process that we're mentioning is number one, step one, let's clarify it, okay? That clarification comes in with you're being diagnosed. You were diagnosed. You received a diagnosis of breast cancer. Go in your room, shut the door, and cry it out if you have to. It's okay. Get that initial stress out. Don't direct it at other people. It's not someone's fault. It's not the doctor's fault. It's not the nurse's fault or whoever told you's fault. So we can sit and blame everybody for this, and it's not going to make a bit of difference. It's just going to hurt you. So the first thing you want to do is have an initial response. Don't repress. Don't hold back. Just let it out. If you have a punching bag, go to the punching bag and pound the crap out of that punching bag about how angry you are that cancer came into your life and is going to blow your world apart. Acknowledge what it's going to do. I tell you what, Andrea, I really love to hear you say, I did this, I did that, I exercise is great for me, all this is really cool. That is something that is unique to yourself. I'm not saying that that's not good for you. It is good for people. These are good goals. But every single woman is going to start from a different place, a different plateau. And we have to meet you. Andrea and I are prepared to meet you where you're at and help you from the beginning of your struggle. That's why we have these groups. That's why we're talking to you like we are right now. We want to reach as many women as possible. I want to say that the steps so far that I've kind of identified are the diagnosis. Like I mentioned before, if you can't calm down on your own, you know, and you have to be calm, you have to get there. So have your initial blowout. And then calm yourself by sitting down and praying if that helps you. Take a pill if that will help you calm down. I did. I told my doctor, I said, you know what, this is the frosting on the cake. I've had enough. I need some help. And so I got a PRN that I'm not presently using, but it helped me get through those moments where I just couldn't control myself. Now that's pure honesty for you. I'm a very type A personality. If you kick me in the shin, I'm going to respond. Okay? So I know myself and I know my limits. Now, step 2, we have to gather ourselves and we have to make a plan. And we'll talk about step 2 later and the next time we get together. Andrea and I most definitely want to help you ladies, you people out there. And I kind of want to deviate just a little bit here. Andrea brought up something really important, that there are other people out here in the world who are getting other types of diagnoses, such as Parkinson's, leukemias, other types of cancers, different types of life-changing diagnoses, terminal diagnoses, etc. And all of the information that we're giving out right now can be used as well for those diagnoses and those situations, not just specifically breast cancer. Another step we're going to be covering is the journaling step, where we're going to really, really encourage you to start journaling, and you don't have to be a master author or have a published book in order to do this, but we want to talk to you about establishing a support system, which is really important to all of you to have a support system. And we would love it that you would have a support system like from day one, while you're being diagnosed, or while you're being given the information. We'd love your support system to be right there, holding on to you, saying it's going to be okay, no matter what happens, we got you, okay? That's what we're doing, Andrea and I are doing. We're offering to be there with you. The other step that I'm sure we'll be getting to is organizing ourselves and educating ourselves, and that's going to be a lifelong process. So I think that for today, I think we just basically want to make sure that you know what that first step is, that being diagnosed, what it's going to do to your life. I don't know anybody who said whatever when they were told they had breast cancer. I don't know one person. So all of us uniquely respond to something devastating like this. So, Andrea, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you've said, Michelle. And each woman's journey, and I'd say woman, because breast cancer is mostly a woman's illness, but there are men sometimes too. Everyone's going to have a unique journey, but there are going to be some commonalities, and that goes across the board, like we just talked about. If you get a diagnosis of any major substance, it's going to be life-changing. You may not realize it at the time, but it's going to impact your life in multiple ways, and perhaps your family, of course your family, your friends, and other people. So just things to be aware of. You're not alone with this. Other people go through it. Hopefully most people do make it through the other side and survive and thrive, and that's what our goal is, to help each of you be the best that you can be after and during something that you're going through that's as serious as this. And then, just like Michelle said, we're going to help you from where you are now to where you want to go. And that's going to be different for each of us, because we're all at different ends of the spectrum and along the journey. But it's about being proactive as well. We don't want you to put your head in the sand and say, oh, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I'm going to die. That's not the case. I really, truly believe women and men should no longer be dying of breast cancer. We have so many ways: detection, prevention. We'll go into prevention another time. That's a whole big topic that Michelle and I will cover with you. But there are things you could be doing to be taking control of your life, helping to prevent either getting breast cancer for the first time or decreasing your risk of getting recurrent. We're going to go into that in more depth later. So please contact us. So again, Andrea Schneider, SCHNEIDER. Best way to find me is on Facebook. Either message me and or join my group. Fit, Sexy, Successful, and Over 40. You will find me. And Michelle, give your contact information again. And we will be on again next week. If you ladies connect with us on Facebook and give us some ideas that are pressing to you of what you'd like us to talk about, we're open for suggestions. We want to be there for you. Michelle?
Okay, I forgot that I had this lovely little book down here I want to share with everybody, Andrea, real quick. It's written by Denise Hazen, Denisehazен, and it's called Treat Her Like a Princess. Okay, and I don't know if you guys
Maybe you can hold it up and hold it still.
it's kind of looking like this. And this book is really important. Well, it's kind of cool. It's like a little scrolly kind of booky kind of thing. The one chapter, this is chapter 1, that says, "Why me?" Okay? And it's like a journey through the different steps or whatever. I picked this book up at the treatment center in the library, and unfortunately that was the only book that they had, because I basically was I was going to try to grab as many as I could to share with people. But like I said, it was written by Denise Hazen. Okay, and I don't know if I can find the publication here. It's got a $15 tag on it, so like I said, I wanted to make sure I could. Pink Ribbons Project is who made it. It looks like. Okay. So anyway, that's a pretty cool book. If you get a chance or you see it, scoop it up. You won't be sorry. My contact information again is Breast Cancer Champions is a closed group in the Facebook venue. You just Google in Breast Cancer Champions. It'll lead you right straight to us on Facebook. Or you can look for me, Michelle, Michelle, Losen Speaks, LOSENSPEAKS, Haner, HANER. And then you can give me a personal message if you would like on how to become a member of Breast Cancer Champions and or a member of the Circle of Champions, which is not specific to women. This is a group that's open, or not open, but a closed group for family members, Breast Cancer Champions, friends, family, support. So there you go. And I hope to hear from anybody who is interested in getting a little bit of help here or some education.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. All right, we're going to sign off for today. I hope this was helpful to you in some way, and we do hope to connect with you. All right, Michelle, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Week.
All right, bye, Michelle.
Bye-bye.